All right, let's start by taking a moment and imagining your dream job. Now, picture yourself doing that job, but you're not enjoying it. It's not what you expected it to be like. Everything feels unfamiliar, almost alien, and unwelcoming. Almost like either you can't find a way to fit in, or more like you just don't want to find a way to fit in. In fact, you'd rather just leave and go back to what you had before. That brings us to Mia's story and the inspiration for our project. Mia was hired for her dream job at Rescue, a humanitarian organization. However, almost from the moment she walked in the front doors, she doubted her new job choice. To highlight a few of the most major points of issue, firstly, her doubts started with an unfriendly and cold reception at the front desk. Next, Mia discovered that neither her office nor her computer had been prepared prior to her starting date. Arranging any meeting with her direct supervisor proved to be a ridiculous challenge, and when meetings were actually arranged, they would be interrupted and cut short constantly. Finally, the tasks she was being assigned were not what she was expecting to be doing based on the job posting and interview. In fact, to her, the entire job was seemingly not as advertised. It's been reported that turnover for new hires is common, with about 20% of employees leaving within the first 45 days of beginning employment. We believe that this percentage can and should be reduced. Although this is almost certainly unintentional, employers often deter new employees from wanting to work for them. Often this will lead to decreases in productivity or even the new hire leaving outright. Beginning a new career is already a stressful time, and the last thing an employer should be doing is amplifying the anxieties and seeding doubt about if this change is best for the new worker. Throughout this presentation, we will be discussing the reality of how this occurs, the consequences of this problem being left unresolved, and solutions to consider to remedy the problem.
And in reality, new hire employee turnover often happens in many workplaces when they don't feel fit into the company culture or fitting exactly what they expected. New employees usually quit for many reasons. More often happens is when the job isn't what they signed up for. For example, if they find out their discrepancies in working hours, wages, benefits, and job duties, they will leave. Second is that they have a poor relationship with their manager. As common saying, people don't quit jobs, they quit manager. And the third reason is that they don't get trained well. No matter how experienced new employees are, they need to be trained on the job before expecting them to perform on their own. If you are in Mia's situation and you don't feel comfortable with the new environment, what exactly should you do next? Here are some tips. Identify whether your problem is internal or external. Determine what's working and what's not. Come out of yourself. Observe and imitate. Reach out for help. And remember, there's no shame in leaving. If you cannot handle your situation anymore, maybe it's time for you to move on.
In this section, we are going to cover the problems and the consequences if the problem is not resolved immediately. We will look from the employee and the employer point of view. Firstly, from the employee point of view, the workplace relationship is hurt and does have a negative impact on the careers. An individual feel his or her talent and the past achievements are being ignored. Suddenly, a lower job satisfaction leads to several other emotional distress and mental depression. An introvert behavior occupies employee and he cuts on organizational citizenship behavior. Now, other problems like thinking of the old jobs and some sort of comparison mode turned on in his brain is dangerous. Not only his brain is occupied with a comparison mode, but his thoughts are going back to the old jobs or at least a job change. With the least interest, employee is likely to lose focus and targets. Also, with the cold behavior, an idea of growing inside the company is lost. Ultimately, he feels himself being undervalued and feel demotivated. Now, from the employee point of view, there is always an expense involved hiring an employee. The interview, the onboarding process, and the training does hurt the company's bottom line. With the management spending time and money, hiring the new people repeatedly causes frustration and distractions. With employee misalignment, other employee feels stressed out, demoted with the divided workload, and deals with the disruption on the daily basis. Sometimes, employee even loses high quality talent which can generate revenue for their company. Also, a lower quality of work with high turnover lowers the market return on any interest.
Hi, my name is Arthur, and I'm presenting the solutions and portion of the solution explanation of the presentation. So the solution to the problem was that the direct supervisor should be the one that provide the introduction to the company and go over her role. However, he was busy dealing other duties and was unable to do much in terms of orientation, and that's one of the way that made Mia feel uncomfortable. And as well, the supervisor should be fully informed of Mia's role in the company. However, there was some miscommunication in that part. And one of the articles I read about effective communication was that the hiring manager should inform the supervisor of what the new hire's role should be. So one of the explanation to the solution is the initial interactions and should make Mia more welcome to her role and the company, and the direct supervisor should provide a tour to the facility and introduce Mia to every staff member in the department and other departments in the facility and make her welcome. And also, it would be great to show her where everything's located, such as the break room, the kitchen, where the restroom is, and also to provide her a handbook to the company's policies and others. As well, the HR department should be informed of a new employee and should have set her workstation ready and prepared rather than Mia reach out to them and spend majority of her first day set her workstation up all by herself. And that's my part of the presentation.
Introducing a welcoming and training system for a new employee will help employee feel more comfortable at their new job. Having a system in which a new employee can contact their supervisor when needed would be very helpful for a new hire. Technology has made it much easier for us to be able to communicate using different methods. For example, Microsoft Teams, Skype, email, or a text message if you're provided with the phone company. To ensure everybody's on the same page, having regular meetings will help the staff as a whole, and especially for a new hire to be able to adapt to a new system.
In conclusion, I think management makes a big difference. Company culture should be more welcoming. Training programs should be more advanced and friendly. And also when companies are posting jobs online, job description should be more brief. It should have more detail, like what the daily work life will look like. Management needs to interact with the new hires and have better orientation programs. They shouldn't give 100% workload to new employees. Instead, they should slowly increase the workload. Employer and employee must work together to avoid this problem. There's a famous saying by John Taylor Wood that you cannot clap with one hand alone. In this case, it means that employer and employee, they both need to work together. If one has a problem, they need to talk with another party to solve it out, because both of them need to be on the same page in order to avoid any issues and problems. Thank you everyone for listening to our presentation. If you have any questions, you can message us in Avenue and we'll try to reply back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.